Hello, lovely to see you. I see Maggie's brought you out into the garden. It's such a beautiful day. Do come over to my little hut, my writing shed, which I grandly call the Temple of Peace. That's a bit of a joke, really. It's what Gladstone used to call his study, but it is peaceful. Do come. And Maggie's planted this lovely bed for me just in front of the hut so that I can enjoy it. But I thought it'd be nice to be out here, not least because I want to read a Coleridge poem to you, which is another of these poems that one sort of rediscovers as a lockdown poem. Come into the heart. So, my mother had that lovely ceramic plaque made for me, and I get to indulge my love of Chinese things and the Taoist paintings and books here. But I've got here, this is nice, this is a Folio Society edition. Not that I belong to the Folio Society, but you can get them second hand every so often, and they're very lovely. So this is a Coleridge Poems in its slipcase. And if you want to just pop outside and have a nice seat. This hexagonal hut, it's really a kind of glorified gazebo. But I wanted to read you a great poem of Coleridge's, one of my favourites, one of the so-called conversational poems, where he is, as it were, sitting with you, just as I am, and speaking to you directly, but in his case in beautiful iambic pentameter. Anyway, this is a famous poem of his called This LimeTree Bower My Prison. And I guess this is a kind of prison in a way. It's not quite a lime tree bower. But the story is, well, I'll tell you what Coleridge himself says about it, and then we'll hear the poem. There's a lovely, this particular edition has very beautiful engravings, and it's very beautifully printed. So here we go. This is what Coleridge says. This isn't the poem, this is just Coleridge's little preamble. In the June of 1797, some long-expected friends paid a visit to the author's cottage, and on the morning of their arrival, he met with an accident which disabled him from walking during the whole time of their stay. He's being very discreet there. Actually, Sarah, in their crowded cottage, emptied a skillet of boiling milk on his foot. Anyway, he couldn't go. So the great joy of his life, walking with his friends, was denied him, just as it's being denied us at the moment. One evening, when they had left him for a few hours, he composed the following lines in his garden bower. So, here we are in the garden bower. Let's hear Coleridge now. Well, they are gone, and here must I remain, this lime tree bower, my prison. I have lost beauties and feelings, such as would have been most sweet to my remembrance, even when age had dimmed mine eyes to blindness. They, meanwhile, friends whom I never more may meet again, on springy heath along the hilltop edge wander in gladness, and wind down perchance to that still roaring dell of which I told, the roaring dell, o'er-wooded, narrow, deep, and only speckled by the midday sun, where its slim trunk the ash from rock to rock flings, arching like a bridge. That branchless ash, unsunned and damp, whose few poor yellow leaves ne'er tremble in the gale, yet tremble still, fanned by the waterfall. And there, my friends, behold the dark green file of long lank weeds that all at once, a most fantastic sight, still nod and drip beneath the dripping edge of the blue clay stone. Now, my friends emerge beneath the wide, wide heaven, and view again the many-steepled tract magnificent of hilly fields and meadows, and the sea with some fair bark, perhaps, whose sails light up the slip of smooth clear blue betwixt two isles of purple shadow. Yes, they wander on in gladness all. But thou, methinks, most glad, my gentle-hearted Charles, for thou hast pined and hungered after nature many a year in the great city pent, winning thy way with sad yet patient soul through evil and pain and strange calamity. Ah, Slowly sink behind the western ridge, thou glorious sun. Shine in the slant beams of the sinking orb, ye purple heath flowers. Richly aburn, ye clouds. Live in the yellow light, ye distant groves, and kindle thou blue ocean. So my friend, struck with deep joy, may stand as I have stood, silent with swimming sense, yea, gazing round on the wide landscape, gaze till all doth seem less gross than bodily, and of such hues as veil the Almighty Spirit, when yet he makes spirits perceive his presence. A delight comes sudden on my heart, and I am glad as I myself were there. Nor in this bower, this little lime-tree bower, have I not marked much that has soothed me? Pale beneath the blaze hung the transparent foliage, and I watched some broad and sunny leaf, and loved to see the shadow of the leaf and stem above dappling its sunshine. And that walnut tree was richly tinged, and a deep radiance lay full on the ancient ivy, which usurps those fronting elms, and now with blackest mass makes their dark branches gleam a lighter hue through the late twilight. And though now the bat wheels silent by, and not a swallow twitters, yet still the solitary humble bee sings in the bean flower. Henceforth shall I know that nature ne'er deserts the wise and pure. No plot so narrow, be but nature there, no waste so vacant, but may well employ each faculty of sense, and keep the heart awake to love and beauty. And sometimes 'tis well to be bereft of promised good, that we may lift the soul and contemplate with lively joy the joys we cannot share. My gentle-hearted Charles, when the last rook beats its straight path along the dusky air homewards, I blessed it, deeming its black wing, now a dim speck, now vanishing in light, hath crossed the mighty orb, dilated glory, whilst thou stoodst gazing, or, when all was still, flew creaking o'er thy head, and had a charm for thee, my gentle-hearted Charles, to whom no sound is dissonant which tells of life. Thanks for listening to that with me. There are so many phrases in that poem out there that speak to our condition. See you next time.